Motivation is a lie. Motivation doesn't work that way. It's not a switch that you flip. It's more like a ripple. Feelings come and go. They're fleeting. Real lasting motivation doesn't start with feeling good. It starts with doing something. The cost of waiting isn't time. It's your sense of self. It's that gap between the person you are and the person you could be. Motivation isn't about hype. It's about who you're becoming. You're not lazy. You're not broken. You don't need to feel like it to do it. You just need to do it. Ooh, this is my favorite topic because it is the thing that everyone always wants to hear my thoughts about. It is the thing that everyone wants to know more about. It seems to be the thing that if people could solve this thing, they would have it all figured out. Motivation. Motivation is a lie. Yeah, you heard me. Everything that you've been told about motivation, that it's the key to success, that if you just get motivated, it's complete nonsense. Here's the thing. Motivation isn't what drives you. It's what follows you. And if you're waiting around to get the magic feeling, to feel that you're fired up, you're going to be waiting a long time. So let's talk about why that is and what you can do instead. First off, you're not lazy. You're not broken. You're human. And as humans, we're designed to save energy, to conserve effort for when it really matters. So if you're stuck waiting for that surge of energy to magically appear, it's not a personal flaw. Okay, it's biology. The problem is that we've been sold this myth that motivation is some mystical force that shows up out of nowhere, like you're supposed to wake up one morning, stretch, and suddenly feel like you can conquer the world. Motivation doesn't work that way. It's not a switch that you flip. It's more like a ripple. It grows as you move. If you're stuck in that loop of waiting for motivation to show up before you act, you're setting yourself up for disappointment because feelings come and go. They're fleeting. Real lasting motivation doesn't start with feeling good. It starts with doing something, even something small, and letting that action create the energy that pulls you forward. So let me ask you this. What's really at stake if you keep waiting? Maybe you're thinking, it's just one more day, no big deal. But those days add up. One day turns into a week, it turns into a year, and before you know it, you're in the same place that you were before. Maybe it's your health, and every day you wait, it's another day feeling uncomfortable in your own skin. Maybe it's that side project you keep putting off. The one that could give you the freedom, but you're still stuck at square one, like me doing this video. Or maybe it's the respect that you want to feel for yourself, knowing that you kept a promise to yourself even when it was hard. The cost of waiting isn't time. It's your sense of self. It's that gap between the person you are and the person you could be. And every day you don't act, that gap gets wider. That's why this matters, because motivation isn't about hype. It's about who you're becoming. Let me tell you a quick story. Think of an Olympic athlete. We love to watch them on the podium, medals around their neck, looking like they were born for this. But what we don't see are the days when it's pouring rain and they're showing up to train, the days when they're exhausted, they're doubting themselves, and the last thing that they feel is motivated. They show up anyway, not because they're superhuman, but because they've learned something. We're not taught motivation as a starting point. It's a byproduct. Action first, feeling second. They don't wait for motivation. They create it by doing the work even when they're not feeling it. That's the mindset shift. It's not about waiting to feel ready. It's about starting and letting the act of starting create the energy that carries you forward. All right, let's talk about how to do this in your own life. 5 steps to unlocking lasting motivation. All right, step 1, you got to define your reason. Not some grand, poetic life purpose, something real, something that matters to you right here, right now. Ask yourself, why do I want to do this? What problems am I solving for myself or for someone else? If you're trying to get healthy, maybe it's because you're tired of feeling like you're not in control of your own body. If you're building something new, maybe it's because you're sick of living by someone else's rules. When you define your reason, write it down. Don't let it live in your head. That's too easy to forget. Put it in your bathroom mirror. Make it the background on your phone. Remind yourself every day why you're doing this. Because when you're clear on the why, the how becomes a lot easier to figure out. All right, step 2, chunk it down. Big goals are exciting, but they can also be paralyzing. If you're staring at a mountain, the top looks a long way off. So don't focus on the summit. Focus on the next step. If you want to run a marathon, start with a 5-minute jog. If you want to write a book, write a single paragraph today. You want to build a business? Research one competitor or sketch one idea. Make the step so small that it feels almost too easy. That's not a weakness. That's a strategy, because small steps build momentum, and momentum is what carries you to the top of the mountain, one foothold at a time. All right, step 3, you've got to build your environment. Your surroundings shape your actions more than you think. And if you're relying on willpower alone, it's like swimming upstream. But if you can design your environment to make right actions easier, you're letting the current carry you. So here's some ways that you can do that. You could schedule your workouts so they're already put in your calendar. You can put your phone in another room when you're working. You can keep running shoes by the door so there's no friction to getting started. It's not about being perfect. It's about removing just enough obstacles that taking action feels like the natural next step. All right. Step 4, you have to master the mindset. The biggest myth about motivation is that you're supposed to feel excited all the time. And that's not real life. Real life is messy. It's tired mornings. It's late nights. It's doubts that whisper in your ear when you're trying to focus. The mindset shift is simple, but powerful. You don't need to feel like it to do it. You just need to do it. Progress over perfection. Your feelings don't have to match your actions. Those moments when you're doubting yourself, that's where the real growth happens. All right, step 5 is to track and reinforce. Motivation grows when you can see your progress. That's why tracking matters. Not to judge yourself, but to remind yourself that you're moving. You mark days on your calendar. Write down what you did, even if it's just one sentence. Take a few minutes at the end of each week to reflect what's worked, what didn't. When you see those small wins stack up, you start to trust yourself. You see the evidence that you're not stuck. You're moving, even if it's 1 inch at a time. So here's the bottom line. Motivation isn't something that you wait for. It's something you create by taking action, even when you feel like you don't like it, because it's the action itself that creates that motivation. All right, here's the 5 steps. Remember, define your reason, chunk it down, build your environment, master the mindset, track it, and reinforce it. The steps aren't magic. They're real, and they work if you're willing to show up, even on the days when it feels like you're moving through mud. If you enjoyed watching this video, you're going to love this next one. Check it out right here.